The button has been selected.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in iGalen land. Welcome to this next phase of our Wednesday night team calls with iGalen. As most of you probably already know, Dr. John Gluckman has handed the co-hosting or the hosting reins over to a few of us after more than a year of incredible service. And okay, we have some background noise here. Maybe people need to maybe mute themselves. Or if, yeah, either that or Fawn can mute everybody. We've had the company only just over a year, and John has been doing these calls on a regular weekly basis since then with some really interesting interviews, and you realize how much effort it is. You know, our hats go off to him. So we are now a fabulous team of 5. It took a few of us to fill one person's shoes, but we're aiming to you know, do as good a job hopefully as John, and we'll maybe have him lurking in the background to give us some hints after this first one especially. So we're you know, along with Dr. Ken Pepperdine and Dr. Ron Bersma and myself, we have added a couple of members to our co-hosting team. Fawn Christensen is, you probably saw, she was the one who posted the invitations to tonight's Zoom, and she is controlling the Zoom tonight, so she's manning the controls. And we also have Australia's own Jackie Boyle, and Jackie will be tonight's interviewer. And so, you know, it's taking some of the pressure off Ken and Ron to have to be here every week with, you know, wonderful things to say, and they've done a fabulous job. And of course, they will be invited always, or, you know, will feel free to join in and with any comments. So tonight, we've got a really exciting call. My job is going to just be continuing kind of what I was doing before and making sure that the recordings get up and get posted on the pages, as well as converted to YouTube so that you've got an easily shareable link. Tonight's call, there's been a lot of excitement about it. People are really interested in what these 2 young ladies have to say. We're very fortunate to have Brittany MacDonald and Alora Harper, both from BC. Brittany is from Langley area, and Alora is closer to Kelowna, but I just found out tonight they are sisters-in-law, so they get to work together as well as play together. So I'm not going to do a huge introduction. Jackie is going to be interviewing these young ladies, but an interesting perspective because they're young mothers, they have young kids, they, you know, have obviously all the things that go along with that, but they're also entrepreneurs and are growing their iGalen business, and I think we'll probably learn a lot from them. What the format we hope is going to be is about 40 minutes or so of interview, and that'll give us about 20 minutes if we need that much at the end for Q&A. So if questions can be typed into the chat box, it's probably going to be simpler there, and then we can monitor that and bring up the questions. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to our lovely Jackie to pick these girls' brains and tell us what they're doing that's working so well. Over to you, Jackie.
Thanks so much, Debbie. And I just want to thank John again for the whole 12 months that he's given to us. So I just want to acknowledge that again, because it is big shoes that I'm quite shivering in, to be quite honest, to be filling. It's really great to have Ron on board tonight, even though it's saying that we have 2 Dr. Dave Nelsons on board. But Ron and Ken will be joining us, but for tonight's call, what we wanted to look at doing, and I'm so eternally grateful for Brittany and for Alora to be joining us. I had the pleasure of meeting them, as I did a lot of you, in Vegas, and I just had this inspiring connection with both of them, and mostly it was due to the fact of their passion that they just brought forward, and you could see that they had a connection there. I didn't know at the time that they were actually sister-in-laws, but the passion that both of them had for the company came through very strongly. And as bringing their husbands along, it was a really big indicator that this just wasn't a one-woman show here. Like, this was a family unit that you brought to the table. And, you know, as we're taking iGalen out globally into the world, it's a difficult area to touch base on with young families, and then asking them to be considering to take what we already know is a management system in our health that's assisting and supporting us to the best possible way that anything ever could, to have young parents and to bring it into their families. This is an area that is quite a touchy one that we are still working on trying to get into. So I just want to welcome Brittany and Alora. And what I wanted to start with is to start with Brittany first. We've gone through a bit of a briefing with them and asked them how comfortable they are with things. So Brittany, if I can just ask you first, how it was that you actually got involved into iGalen? What brought you into the company?
Hi, everyone. First off, I just want to thank you all for having me on here. I can't tell you how humbled I am to be here. I feel very lucky to be here. But yeah, so the lovely one and only Jana Jorgensen actually introduced me to the company. I was fortunate enough, I'm her hairstylist, and I felt her passion when she got back from that first San Diego meeting that she had down in with Dr. Rajan and Costa and the whole team of everybody, Dr. Aarons. And the funny thing is, I'm skeptical. I didn't know what this was all about. I'm new to multi-level marketing, to network marketing. But Jen and I go way back. We used to work in a spa together. She actually managed one of the spas that I did hair in. And I could tell that there was just something different with this venture that she was on. And she knew I was always into health and wellness. And she just shared it with me. And I tried the product. And I think it was 2 or 3 weeks in, I was text messaging her and like, Jen, I need more of this stuff. And she's like, okay, honey, well, we'll sign you up. And that was kind of it. I trusted her. And I must say, this has been the craziest and most exciting adventure. And I feel like I've found my home and I've found my calling. So I'm eternally grateful to Jana for introducing me to the company and being my mentor. So, yeah.
And what a fabulous mentor you have, as we all inspire to Jana. A lot of us do, so we're very grateful to have somebody like her. Thank you, Brittany. Alora, I want to ask you the same question as well, as to how you've been introduced into iGalen. Like, what's brought you into this pathway?
Well, like Brittany, thanks everybody for having me. I'm very honored. I think Brittany was my inspiration for all of this. And she kind of got me at the perfect time. And it was, I guess, the perfect storm, because I was in a really bad place in my life when she introduced me to iGalen. And I was suffering with postpartum depression and no energy. I had a husband who was working away nonstop. So I was very much a single parent in that time, and it was hard. Brittany came down to visit, and she was telling me about these supplements that she was taking. She left me a week's supply, and at this time I was highly addicted to sugar due to my pregnancy, because I had a really bad chocolate chip cookie craving through my pregnancy, and it didn't go away after I had her. So I was severely addicted to sugar, and as we all know, I was in a bad state due to it. So within a week of trying Emulin, it could have been the placebo effect, but I noticed that my sugar cravings were cut in half. And I messaged her and said, what is this? I need it in my life. And she sent me a bottle, and I signed up, and the rest is history. It's been amazing mentor for me, and Jana has been right there for both of us. So like her, I'm completely new to this industry and was really skeptical about doing the business side of it. But after going to Vegas and just seeing how transparent everything was with this company and the people who were running it, it was such a wow moment for me that it was a no-brainer. This is what I was meant to do. And Brittany and I have since started a team together, and our first call that we did with each other and our team, it was like this wow moment. I was like adrenaline going through me afterwards. My husband was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, this is what I was meant to do. I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time, and this is my calling. This is what I'm meant to do this. I can't wait for what the future has in store for us. Yeah.
That's exciting, Alora, and I'm going to stay with you before I go back to Brittany, because what I wanted to ask you, as we had discussed, how has Emulin been for both you and your husband? So as parents, like, because we're looking at this from a family perspective to start with, so like, how has it been as parents? So you've introduced this into, like, both of you as husband and wife, you're taking the products?
Yeah, it was a struggle to get my husband to commit to taking it, especially because he's the biggest skeptic ever and does not take a vitamin. So it was hard to get him to take something like this. But I will say that once I decided to do this business side of it, I sat him down and I said, look, if I'm going to be promoting a healthy lifestyle and I'm going to be promoting this amazing supplement, I need you behind me and I need you to be able to take it with me. And Jason just instantly was like, yeah, you're right. And since he started taking it, he won't go without it. He carries it around in a little baggie with him in his work truck. And I actually had one of his coworkers stop at the house on the weekend when Brittany was out, and he's like, hey, what are those little pills your husband's taking? I want some. And I was kind of blown away because I didn't know that this is something that Jason had done, is that he had taken it to work and was taking it at work. So if he promoted it for me right there, and he is loving the product himself now. So that's been pretty amazing.
So can I ask you, well, I've still got you because I'm going to go back to Brittany with these questions as well. What benefits have you found from Emulin and Klamax, and the same with Jason as well?
Personally, my sugar cravings were the first to go. I loved it. And I won't lie, once I transitioned from Emulin M to Emulin E, I did notice sugar cravings return, but I am working on, they are slowly but surely going again. I really struggled with low energy, and I think to me that's probably been the biggest one. I have a higher energy level. I'm able to get through the day. I sleep better. And the best one is, before Emulin was in my life, I suffered from really bad PMS. So it was really uncomfortable and really cranky. Mood was bad and very crampy. So with Emulin, I think it was about the 6 or probably 7 month mark, I had no cramping whatsoever. So that was amazing. And as women, I'm sure everybody out there can completely relate to that being able to go through that time of the month without having any discomfort was pretty amazing. And then I still was experiencing the moodiness, but with Klamax, I have no symptoms whatsoever. I go through my month completely level, and it's amazing.
Jason must be just loving it then, is he?
He's loving it. It was to the point beforehand where it would be 3 days before I would expect something, and I would have to say, honey, I love you so much. I apologize for what the next 5 days holds, but just know that that's not me. I love you. So,
that's beautiful.
He's really enjoying the sane person that I am throughout the month. But for him, his energy levels have been quite amazing. Every night he would get home from work and sit on the couch and be just exhausted, and probably be in bed by about 9:30. Since taking Emulin consistently and regularly, we aren't going to bed till probably about 11 o'clock because we just have so much to do and we have the energy to get it done. So that has been his biggest noticeable change. And with the Klamax, I've noticed that his eczema, with he had really bad eczema on his leg, and within 5 days of taking the Klamax, his eczema was gone on his leg. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that was pretty amazing.
So really, as young parents, you guys have really had a transformation in the management system for your health. Like, it's really made a big impact for you. Would that be right to say for you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty important as young parents. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it, because it's always quite raw when you dig into your own personal space. So we all really appreciate that. So I'm just going to pop over to Brittany. So Brittany, I just want to ask the same things of you, really. So we know how you were involved with it, because the lovely Jana brought you into the company. But how have you been finding Emulin yourself, and Klamax for both you and your hubby? Like, what's been happening for you guys?
So much like myself, or much like Alora, I mean, I'll start from the beginning. So how I first started noticing the difference was my energies. I feel like my whole adult life, I have been tired. Like, I don't ever remember one time in my life where I haven't been sluggish or like getting midday and just feeling exhausted. Even in my younger years, like, I don't ever remember not being tired. And that was the aha moment for me, because I'm a really healthy person. I'm probably the healthiest eater I know. I exercise regularly. We were healthy before iGalen got introduced into my life, but even so, I was exhausted. When Jana introduced me to iGalen and to Emulin, how old was Riker? Riker was just about 1 or just around 1 year old. So he was still waking up in the night twice to feed. And I was so tired. But what I noticed one night, I put the kids to bed, and as usual, I'm going through the kitchen, cleaning, doing dishes, cleaning up after dinner. And 10 o'clock, I'm cleaning, and I'm like happy, I'm dancing a little bit, and the music's going, and I look at the clock, and it's 10 p.m., and I was like, what the heck? It's 10 o'clock, and I'm not like just dragging my butt right now. And then I kept track. I was like, okay, is this just something, a one-off? But no, I have so much energy now. I am so happy. Someone asked me, they're like, so how much is this a month? I'm like, I don't care how much this is a month. This is even before I signed up. I was like, I don't care how much this is a month. I am not tired anymore. And I've been looking for this. I have been wanting something to not make me tired. So that was the biggest thing at the beginning. And then it wasn't until 6 months in that I noticed I had absolutely no more PMS symptoms. I thought it was August hit, and I'd been 6 months on Emulin, and all of a sudden I got my monthly gift and I had absolutely no symptoms. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'm sure next month I'll have it. And after having kids, I had it pretty bad. I had bad cramps, I had backache, I'd break out. The breast soreness, headaches, everything. It was pretty bad a day or two before, or even 3 days before, actually. I know that's too much information for a lot of you guys, but I feel like for someone I'm 33, and a lot of the testimonials that have been out and that I've been reading about have been for people who already have diseases or illnesses, and I'm healthy. And so this was huge for me, because really, if I can get rid of being tired and then not having PMS anymore, I think I'm winning. I think that's a pretty great testimony.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's been great for me. And so it hasn't come back. I'm excited because my mom she suffered pretty badly from menopause and perimenopause. So I'm hopeful. And after listening to Dr. Aaron's call the other night, I'm really hopeful that I get to bypass all that, and that would be amazing.
It would be a gift. And how about for Steve? Jamie, you're Jamie. Sorry, I don't know why I got Steve. That's Ashley's husband. I'm sorry. There's got these entrepreneur women that are out there.
That's quite odd. So Jamie he's very healthy. He's super, super healthy. Jamie has a lot of health issues, though. He's got some GI tract stuff. He can't have gluten. He can't have dairy. He still is. he's like what you say, Jackie. Not every day is perfect. It's a work in progress. But he's definitely, with him, Jamie, I always laughed because he got up in the middle of the night to go pee more than I did when I was pregnant. And
sorry, I shouldn't
he doesn't
laugh.
do that anymore. So that was something really neat. And Jamie is a terrible sleeper. He has always been since he was a kid, he's been a bad sleeper. And once he woke up, if it was 2 a.m, he'd be awake for the rest of the night. Now Jamie can sleep better. He sleeps a lot better. And if he gets up in the middle of the night, he's able to fall back asleep without being up for the rest of the night. I'm not going to say every single night he sleeps perfectly, but it's so much better than he used to be. And he used to sleep with earplugs all the time because of the noise. He doesn't sleep with earplugs anymore. So he's getting longer, more restful sleeps. And he does notice a little bit more energy. But when Klamax came out, he actually had really bad golfer's elbow, which is similar to tennis elbow. And he had it for almost a year. And within 3 days, that was gone and it hasn't come back.
Wow.
So that was huge. My husband also doesn't sit down. Alora can testify to this. He's like the busiest person I've ever met. He works his butt off. We've got 4 kids. We own a house. He owns his own business. The man has a lot to work for. And so he doesn't sit still. So I think these supplements have really helped with his energy because since taking them, his life has gotten even busier. So we can't track it compared to what it used to be, but I know deep down inside that he's got more energy now. And just to add on a little bit to that, and this is a little off topic, but he works so hard for us and for our family, and it's going to make me a little emotional, but iGalen has brought something to the table for me because I cut hair for a living, and I know I love cutting hair and I love doing hair. I love that job, but I know that the business side of it can't give me what iGalen can give me. And watching my husband work so hard is one of the reasons why I want this to spread the news to everybody, is because I see that iGalen's our vehicle to get us to where we want to go. And seeing my husband work so hard, I can't wait to retire him. That's like my biggest goal, is to bring him home and be like, kind of just relax and take a load off. And I think that's going to be amazing. And I know that this is the vehicle to get us there.
Brittany, you've got the hairs on my body standing on end, because to share again such rawness, I'm so eternally grateful. And you can all see why these two are so instrumental to our family in iGalen, because their passion and what they're bringing forward with both of their husbands and themselves. We're listening to what young entrepreneurs are doing and what their passion is and what the benefits that they are feeling and experiencing from it. So I'm very, very grateful, and I'm going to give you a break, Britt, because I think you can have a bit of a moment, because
Jackie.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's a raw thing to bring up, something so personal. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Alora, I want to go and start and venture down the pathway of your children. So I know you've got 2 young children, so I know they keep you very, very active. So really what I want to ask you, and as I expressed before, and I know everybody will understand this, it's up to you as to what you want to share, but what was the decision for you as parents, for you and Jason, to decide to bring Emulin firstly into their lives and then followed by Klamax? Like, what was the big key factors for you as parents?
Like any parent, you hesitate because there's not really much to do with Emulin and children, right? And there haven't been very much information out there on it. So I was hesitant to do it. And it wasn't until after Las Vegas where, again, it was just such a big eye-opener to me that what was in our food. And once you go down that rabbit hole, it's scary. It's really scary. And in today's world, I know as a mom, I can't control every moment of, and watch every item of food that goes into my children's mouths, but I, at home, really try hard to make sure that they eat healthy. And Emulin was just something that, you know what, this is going to be able to help them with those times that I'm not there to monitor what they eat. And I'm not going to deprive my kids of sugar, because I feel that in the end that just backfires on you anyways. But I know that Emulin is there it has our families back with it. And my kids are very healthy. We eat very healthy. They're very active. They're busy kids. And I know that with Emulin and both Klamax, because they take them both, both my girls, they don't get as sick as the other children around. And we have a very, very large family. My kids have almost 20 cousins that we stay in contact with. Yeah. And I mean, we see all other kids every day, and all of these children around us are constantly sick. And that's one thing that I've noticed is my children, they still get sick. They still get something, but not to the extent that most kids do. So that for me was, I love that about these products. And at first it was hard to get the girls to drink the Klamax. But
that was going to be my question. How did you get them to have the Emulin and the Klamax?
The Emulin goes in their smoothie. My girls drink a smoothie every morning. They could never drink a bottle. They were unable to have dairy milk. So we just made smoothies in the morning. And it has become such a routine in our day that it's so easy for us to do. They gobble them up. There's not a drop left in those smoothies. So I take 2 capsules and I put it in their smoothie, and they split the smoothie. So they both get a capsule each. And then with the Klamax, as long as they don't smell it, they are good. So I put it in a sippy cup with a lid on it, and we call it their Elsa juice. They love the color, and it's their Elsa juice. So it gives them magical powers, and they love to drink it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for that. And you've really noticed the benefits for them then through them not getting as sick in regards to what other children are that they're exposed to, I guess, really, is what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Because again, it's really a big thing to share your children's story. So I really do appreciate that. So if I can flip over to you, Britt, if you want to unmute yourself, and if you can just share. I know that you've got different ages. You've got 4 children. So you've got teenagers and you've got 2 young ones that no wonder your house is busy and no wonder your husband is never home. With 4 children, I have 4. So it's, it's a really challenging time to get through. So
busy.
So firstly, just the big question is, what was the decision for you to start the children on Emulin and Klamax, and what have been the benefits for you that you've noticed with the children, and how have you been giving it to them?
Well, this goes back to, I was hearing stats of what kids, the projection for what things like ADHD and different learning disabilities and autism, what those stats are. Like, I can't remember, don't quote me on this, and I might be completely wrong, but I think by like 2040, the projection for kids with autism is like 1 in 4. Something like that. And I know that there's more kids now that have been diagnosed with ADD and ADHD more than ever. And I'm a big believer that our food source, our food source has been tampered with. Not that I'm a believer, it's a fact. Our food source has been tampered with. And I'm a big believer that that's a big part of why kids have these issues, and also all the sugar and everything. I don't give my kids very much sugar. I try to limit it as much as possible. And Riker, my little guy, he's 2. He unfortunately has been, he's got health issues that my husband has that have been passed down to him. So he suffers from some stomach issues. He also doesn't have dairy and gluten. But when I found out what the purpose of Emulin was and what it does for our body and how it can help us process these things, it really was a no-brainer to give it to my children. So they've been on it for over a year now, like since day one. And what I do, I open the capsule and I put it in yogurt, and my kids know the Emulin's in there. They see it, I mix it in. And sometimes Finn, who is 4, he's like, oh, Emulin, I can taste it. And the taste of Emulin doesn't taste delicious, but he still drinks whatever it is, or eats whatever it is that it's in there, and he'll suck it up and he'll finish it. But it's, with Riker, he has no problem in his yogurt. And then with the Klamax, I called it Hulk juice because my kids are big into superheroes. Yeah. And they were fine with the taste, so they had no trouble whatsoever, and they quite like it. But yeah, after Las Vegas and meeting Dr. Ahrens and Dr. Scoglio, it was like, I had to give it to my kids. I'm like, every person needs to give this to their child, or every child should be taking this. I am a big believer in preventative medicine. I think that is huge. And if we all had that mindset from day one, I think a lot of things could be prevented. Having said that, when I was a teenager, I ate junk food, I ate sugar. Like, it wasn't like I thought that then. This is wasn't until adulthood that I thought this way. So with my kids, the benefits have been, well, Finn eats dinner now. He didn't eat, he was a picky eater, and ever since taking Klamax, he eats dinner. And yeah, he'll complain and he's like, oh, I don't want this, I don't like this, but he eats it. And it wasn't until after Klamax that he finally started to eat what we were eating. But with him mainly, he loves his carbs. He loves his crackers, his chips. I do try to not only feed them those things, but I feel like with him taking Emulin, it gives me a little bit of peace of mind that he's not going to grow up to have these diseases that people are getting because they were fed all these carbohydrates and sugars as children. Yeah. So with my little guy, Riker, he is like my husband and is going through some detoxing right now, but I've been talking with our amazing doctor, Dr. Scoglio, and he's been guiding me through what to do for him. And Riker actually takes 3 doses of Klamax a day. And he is having a bit of detox right now with his eczema. But I really believe that pushing through this is the key, whereas I think the average person would just want to cover it up. I've never given him cortisone cream, and that's what I take him to the doctors, and that's all the doctor really knows what to do is to give him cortisone. And I refuse to do that.
And
so
Brittany, just to stop, Riker's only like 2.5 or 3, isn't he?
He's only 2. He just turned 2 in February.
Turned 2. Okay, I knew he was only little.
Yeah, so he gets really itchy, but I really feel like once this detox is done, whatever issue he has in his gut is going to be healed. So I'm hoping that it comes to an end pretty soon here.
Thank you for that. I mean, there's some really great information there, and I know people are going to want to ask questions. So collectively, I want to ask both of you, and you can answer this together, or you can join in because you do work hand in hand together. But what can we do, or how have you found trying to explain this to other young families with young children? What have been the stopping points that you find that parents are just saying, I'm not taking this for my child? And what can we do that's going to make it easier to be able to get their trust and their faith?
I think both Alora and I have experienced this. On the bottle it says, on Klamax it says, don't take, for people 18 and under, don't take without speaking to your doctor. And then with Emulin it says, please talk to your doctor before, if you're breastfeeding or children or nursing. Whereas okay, I'll tell them that, oh, trust me, I've talked to Dr. Ahrens, I've talked to Dr. Scoglio. They say it's completely safe. It's totally fine for you to take. But they're looking at me and they're like, how do we know? How do I know that you've actually spoken to these doctors? Like, who are you to... They're going to trust their doctor over me. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, and I don't want that I don't want to be responsible for saying something is right and then it not being okay for them. But the doctors don't know what this is yet. These are new supplements. So most of these doctors have never heard of these supplements. So they'll probably be a little leery.
So have you found the same, Alora? Has that been similar sort of experiences for you?
Yeah, it's been very similar. I have quite a few people that are, because clients, I have clients that come in and get their hair done, and quite a few of them have children that have health issues. And it kind of hurts me a little bit that I have this amazing supplement that I know could help them. And as soon as they see on the bottle, consult your healthcare practitioner prior to use. And on the Klamax, it says if your children have any disabilities or health issues, I think it is to contact your healthcare practitioner. Parents instantly put up a wall, and which I understand because I'm a parent, and if somebody came to me with something this new, I would be hesitant. But because Brittany and I have experienced what these can do and we have educated ourselves with it, we try to help these parents. But I think if we had something more of a protocol to follow with how to promote it to children and to families, it'd be easier for us.
I think from listening when we're in Vegas, and this is the great thing about it, both of you have brought up something very as a key word, it's education, and then it becomes trust. And we do know that it is in the works. It was brought up on yesterday's call again. It was asked in Vegas. So with being such a baby company with so much going on, we do know that we are going to get protocols for children that we are able to share. That is coming, but it's like everything, there is so much else that's going on that it's not important. And obviously we understand that they have to have that on the side of the bottle to protect the company, but there are going to be protocols that Dr. Rajan said that is going to be brought out for both products. So which will be brilliant. Very quickly, because I know people want to ask, but I do want to ask both of you because my admiration for both of you is just huge. And hence wanting to bring both of you on because you are young parents, you're young mums, you're wives, you're entrepreneurs, and you are the future. And not only are you two the future, but your children are the future, because the education that you are passing down to your children is very powerful. And it just, again, I've got hairs on my arms, it's just popping up just thinking about it, because what you two are doing for us, I'm just eternally grateful because you really have got that passion and you are educating and you are sending it forward into the future for us, and it's going through your children. So I'm very grateful for that. So I've got one more question because I really want to open it up to everybody to ask is what would you leave us with just as a working team that the two of you work together hand in hand with the business as entrepreneurs? What is it that you guys do that's special above other people that's working for you?
Well, I can't speak for Brittany, but I know for me, I think what made a big difference was when you talk from the heart and you know what these can do for people, and you be genuine and true, and you know that it's going to change the world, because this is what it is. We have something so amazing in our hands that is going to alter the way people are looking at health and wellness. And when you show how passionate you are and you are genuine and just open about it, it kind of radiates out of you. And I think that is its truest form of attraction marketing. And it's taken a while, but people are now coming to us and, hey, what is this that you've been talking about? And they can see the changes. And I think that's been, I think, the biggest thing that I can leave people with is when you are true to what you say and you wholeheartedly believe in it and are behind it, it makes a world of difference.
You're so spot on there. And this is what I'm talking about with you girls. You do speak from the heart. Brittany?
Yeah, I agree with Alora 100%. my biggest advice would be to everyone out there that is either new at this or not sure is find someone you can work with and bounce ideas off, because without Alora, I probably wouldn't have the confidence to be where I am today. And Jana, for sure. Jana's been absolutely amazing. But having Alora, like we've got our little team going and we have our weekly calls with our teammates. But having someone that you can call up and just run ideas, bounce ideas back and forth is huge. So that's what I would really recommend, finding that one person that you really jive with, that you can do that with. And then for myself, being consistent, I don't have a ton of time to do a lot of work every day, but I have a little time every day to do some work. So I try to every night after dinner, put the kids to bed. I come into this office where I am right now and I do a little bit of work for a couple of hours. And I try to be as organized as I can. I have the people who I've contacted, who I followed up with, how long it's been. And then every week I try to go through that list again and see where people are at. And I'll even go back through my emails and through my Facebook messages and my text messages and see who I've talked to, because they get forgotten. You get so many new emails that all gets forgotten. But consistency is huge, and persistence is huge. It wasn't until so I signed up with the company in February of last year, and then it took a whole year almost to kind of wrap my head around it. And I think a lot of people give up too early. So if I can urge people to not give up and just kind of push through the unknown and know that in a little while things will start to make a bit more sense, because we were both really new at this and I just trusted. I knew that this was going to make sense eventually, and I'm so happy that I'm still learning every day, but I'm so happy that 2 months in I didn't be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing and give up, because I'd be really kicking myself today if that was the case.
And look where you are. Imagine what you're going to be in another year's time, in 2 years' time, and what you're actually evolving your children into. It's just that cycle that's happening and keeps going forward. So again, I just can't thank you guys enough. So I really want to actually open it up and just ask, has anyone got any questions for the girls?
Do you want people to type their questions in the box, or do you want to try and manage opening the call, opening their mics? I think people could do both. If you have a question that we can, kind of be ready for, or I just want to take a moment here and just, again, thank you guys. Your enthusiasm is absolutely wonderful, and your awareness of the situation with food today is such a big education tool for your sphere of influence, because you are with young moms, in various things with kids, and you can be, they say, when you light yourself on fire, the world and come and see you burn. And if you project that, and you do it so beautifully, how you're doing this for your kids, I think you're going to have a huge influence. To the point about the label saying not for children, I remember Dr. Aaron's, I believe, saying in one of his interviews that if there isn't a published study on a particular group, like children or pregnant women, then they can't, they have to put that on there. It doesn't mean it's true. It just means they can't, it's a protection thing with Health Canada in the States, and in Canada, and FDA in the States. So if you say that to people too, I use that all the time. They only have to say that because there isn't a published study. It doesn't mean it isn't, doing what it says.
That's a good point.
So Mary Beth has actually asked, how do you guys actually approach clients in the salon? Like, is that an area that you share the products within the salon when you've got clients?
Absolutely. Brittany and I are in a unique situation where we have people coming into our house and we have an hour to 3 hours in our chair to sit and talk with them. So it's a great opportunity to bring up these supplements. And it's amazing when you start listening to what people are saying. Every single person has some sort of health issue or know somebody with a health issue, or no, they fit into this category where Emulin and Klamax would work so beautifully for them. And even if they don't, you promote what it's been doing for you. So that has, without the salon, it would have been harder for sure, because it has been a great opportunity for us to sit down and have this time with people and really talk to them and give them information. And that's a little bug in their ear. And sometimes they'll leave with a bottle, and sometimes it takes like up to a year for them to even want to try it. So it's all starting somewhere.
Do you ever give your clients just a little taste while they're in the chair? I mean, so often people say, well, would you like a coffee while you're having your hair done, or a water? You know, that's a perfect opportunity.
I've done that to a couple people, and every person that I've done that to, they have either signed up or just for the discount, but or they've bought in a bottle. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and I have so I have shelves in my salon that have the products on them, so people see it. And then I also have a shelf talker right at my station that talks about Emulin. And you mentioned the word inflammation to somebody, and their eyes light up, like, inflammation? Everyone's affected with inflammation some way or another. So that's how the conversation gets started in my salon. And then people, I only work 1 or 2 days a week. I'm very part-time because I've got a busy household. But my clients are regulars. They come every 4 to 6 weeks, and I get to share my stories with them. So quite a few people are repeat customers, and a few of them have signed up now with the company too. So it's pretty cool. It's easy because they trust us. We've been doing their hair for a long time, and it comes up in conversation. Health is always a topic that comes up, and I don't think Alora or myself are pushy about the products. It's quite natural and organic. But it flows pretty easily.
Do you know, I think with both of you too, the fact that you've got your businesses in your own home, that your children are still in and around that environment, that it still has, and this was what was such a great opportunity, and I was so grateful that you both said yes, to have young mums, young wives, young families that you're actually sharing that with your clients, and you're probably not even aware of it. So they're watching what's going on with your children. So they've been coming to you for 12 months, 2 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. They've watched you pregnant as you've gone through your pregnancy. They've seen you go through your PMS. They've seen your babies being born. They've experienced it at a different level, obviously, but they've been observing. So what you're able to give back to them by having it in the salon in your own home, that within itself is a gift. So, it's a really great environment to be in. So you both really are phenomenal entrepreneurs, and you really are great icons for iGalen. And thankfully with iGalen, I can say this, and I think everybody believes this, that we're evolving. So all of these things, as we've seen even in the last 12 months, the company that we have behind us, there is no better. I am biased. I don't believe that we have a better support system or a better science and technology in proof behind us as to what we have with them, and they continue to keep on getting better in what they're offering us. So I know that what we're going to be getting from them in the support that we need in protocols to be able to hand out for young families, to be able to share, that's going to come. And there's so many other exciting things that are going to come. So, Ron, is there anything that you wanted to ask? Because you are one of our Fab Five on the panel, so I'd like to bring you into the realm to ask these beautiful ladies a question, if you've got something, please.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment to both of you. I was very encouraged listening to both of you because you're young enough to be my grandchildren. So it's really, to me, I've been teaching about health for the last 30, 35 years. And a lot of people my age don't get it. They're listening to their medical doctors because we've been taught our whole life that if you got a problem, take this drug. And, foods don't really matter. And unfortunately, the allopathic medicine today in the world is really about not knowing what foods do for the body. So you're teaching your children at a very, very young age what they need to be healthy. not to go about later when we have a health problem and a health challenge. You're starting out on the right path. And I hope everybody had a chance to listen to Dr. Ahrens on Monday. I was just sitting back with tears in my eyes listening to him talk in a different paradigm, not about disease, but a deficiency in flavonoids. And if we get that concept through to young moms like you guys and get that to the world, we're going to change things in such a way that maybe your parents, your grandparents will listen, because they're going to see, and they're dealing with the health issues that a lot of people in my generation are having because of the poor diets in our culture today. So I want to just congratulate you for your entrepreneurship, your honesty, your openness, and your enthusiasm. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just see Ken's just popped into the room. So welcome.
Thank you. I've been listening.
Oh, you've been
I got
listening.
back from the gym just a little bit late, and I decided to put it on the television and lie back and rest.
Okay.
Had a
So
little
now,
visit with Captain Slapdash.
so now you've finished playing with your puppet. Would you like
Yep.
to ask the girls some questions at all while we've
Not so many questions, actually, other than, well, I can't phrase it in a question, but one of our docs in the clinic is a pediatric chiropractic, and there are babies in and out of there all day. And the things that we see are pretty amazing. One expression that I got that I found kind of profound, I never thought of it, but kids are all potential. They're pure potential. And the parent's role is to see that potential manifested. And bit by bit, our potential gets sacrificed. And the really caring parents, like these ladies, are maximizing their kids' potential. And that's what I think every parent wants to do. But looking at that in that light and say, this child has the potential not to ever take an over-the-counter pain reliever and suffer the intestinal consequences of that, and on like that. And I applaud the fact that you've had your paradigm shift, and now you start to see, if you see somebody feeding their baby Cheerios, you're thinking, oh my God, here goes the starch, here goes the Roundup residue. And once that paradigm shifts, you're on a whole nother track, and that's your biggest challenge, isn't it? Just to shift your friend's paradigm, because we're so steeped in it. My only other comment is with regard to the labeling and the question about ask your physician. I searched it out. I can't recall whether I brought it up on our last call, but in the 1990s, a study was done of how much nutrition physicians get in the United States, and it was found woefully inadequate. They advocated that every physician get 30 hours of nutrition, and that the colleges should shoot for 30 hours of nutrition. Some of them have made that, some of them have done a little bit more. But across the US, the average, anybody want to guess the average hours of nutrition that your medical doctor gets?
about 5,
4.5, yeah.
4.5.
So unfortunately, they're in the driver's seat as far as all the big tests and x-rays and all that stuff. But they really have very little nutrition. So it's a dilemma, and we just have to work our way through it. But I really enjoyed listening to you, and I applaud the way you're going forward.
Thank you. I really feel honored to be here with all you amazing people. We've got doctors and naturopaths, and thank you for having us. I can't thank you enough, Jackie, for seeing something in Alora and myself. I really, really appreciate you. You're a light in our life for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie.
Both of you, look, honestly, it's not me. We all see it in you. It's just, I don't think that you realize how much that enthusiasm and hope that two ladies like you, two mums, two phenomenal entrepreneurs, two amazing wives have just brought into our lives, because the enthusiasm and the hope that you give us, that we can see that what we are doing is for a good cause and for the future, because we really are looking towards the future of making health better and having a better health management system that is there, that's available, that is a natural health system that is backed by these amazing scientists, and there is no better out there. And that's just my thought patterns. But to have you two girls share your story today, it's something that we're able to then go and share with other young parents with young families, that is going to really assist all of us globally to be able to share this, to hopefully get people's trust. And it is about trust, and to get them to take that one step forward. So I am just so grateful. Thank you so much to both of you.
And there is a question. Oh, sorry. There's just a question posted in the chat. Have you approached other stylists and introduced this to them and shown them it's a way to make residual income?
Yeah, I have a few of my friends that are hairstylists as well that are taking the supplements, and possibly in the future sign up. One of my girlfriends who's in the spa industry, she has a spa at her house too. She just signed up last week, and it's taken about a year of me talking to her about this and the business side of it as well. But there's very few people that are open to it right off the get-go, only because being a mom is busy. Being a wife is busy. So baby steps, and I think more and more of our friends will be joining us and seeing that it is possible. And yeah.
Well, we're going to have a really, really good recording of all of this to share with everybody who didn't make it on the call tonight, because this information has been extremely valuable. You guys are a treasure, and we get to share you. I take all of the recordings and I convert them into YouTube links. And if you haven't seen my YouTube channel, I'll post the address here in the chat. I think that's it. Anyway, if you in a day or so, you'll see that probably later tonight or tomorrow, actually. You'll see that as a shareable link. When it's posted on Facebook, it's not as easily shareable because it's a Facebook link, and not everybody then is either on Facebook or wants to log in, and this is very neutral. So there's a lot of good information on there as well about the dangers of sugar and food and things like that. So that can be another resource for your, the young moms and whatnot, to get a little bit more background that you guys know and are putting into play. So, and it'll be posted as well on all the Facebook pages that had the invitation posted. So watch for that.
So Debbie, who do we have next week?
Next week, we have PJ Kim from the Philippines, and Jackie's been doing her homework and is going to be interviewing PJ as well. He's a very busy entrepreneur and leader in the Philippines, and building a team against the odds. They don't have things, quite as easy there as far as getting together to do meetings and things like that, and yet he's persevered. So we're going to learn a lot of good things from him and how he's running and creating his team over there. And it'll be same channel, same time. So I think that's about it. Unless anybody has anything extra to add or ask, I think we're pretty much done.
Okay, well, I just want to thank both the girls again, and thanks for the puppet, Ken. I'm a bit concerned that it keeps popping up from down underneath the screen, but we'll leave that one alone. But outside of that, I know that we're going to be able to utilise the intimacy of your families that you just shared with us. And, we've really learned a lot from both you, Alora, and you, Brittany. So I just, kisses to both of you and so much love, and I can't wait to be able to share a few naughty little drinks with you again.
And thank you, Jackie. You have filled Dr. John's shoes very, very well. So you might have yourself a full-time job now, just so you know.
Oh,
you're good. You are good.
We've got 5 of us. Remember, it's the Fab 5 that have had to fill in John's shoes. So
that's right.
Running Ken and Fawn, don't you dare go running anywhere.
Okay, guys, I think with that, it's the wrap. Look for the recordings. Thank you all very much, everybody who participated. It was a fabulous call. And I think that's a wrap. Good night, everybody.
Thank
night.
you.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye. Great job, Deb. Great job, Fawn. I'm just waiting for others to venture off. They're still recording?
Mhm.
I'm going to